breaking the cycle of domestic violence. Children are impacted as they're young, but even as they get older, there's still influence and impact.
How do we break this cycle?
All violence is connected. Intrafamilial violence, neighborhood violence, and social violence are connected.
My name is Benita Presley, and I'm here from Portland, Oregon, and I am a mother of 7 children. The life that I've lived is the life that I saw growing up, and what I've realized is that how I was raised is how I was beginning to raise my own children. My dad abused my mom on a daily basis. I can remember seeing pictures of my mom. She was in a body cast because he had knocked her down some stairs, and those were pretty much the memories that I had of my mom and my dad being together. From the age of 17 to 25, I was in an abusive relationship where I was beaten on a daily basis. He would tie me up and put me in a closet until he got back home from work. He kept telling me that if I ever tried to leave him, he was going to kill me.
My name is Anthony Taylor, and I grew up in an environment where there was domestic violence. Every day is starting over. You never sleep. You have to be the last to go to bed so that you can make sure that everything is all right and you're the first to wake up. We actually had 2 sets of what was normal. We had a set of normal that is normal when my father was around, and a set of normal that was normal when he wasn't around. During a vacation of us back to our kind of childhood hometown in Milwaukee, my father met my mother, wanted to talk to her regarding something, and during a drive home, shot her close range approximately 5 times, pushed her out of the car, left her for dead, went home to his home, my old childhood home, and killed himself.
We all know that violence is a learned behavior and that most often it's acquired in the home, in the community. It is generally the product of inappropriate interactions between individuals and the social context they find themselves in. Children who grow up in homes where violence is in their home and their community, these children become to accept violence as a norm.
I think that we need to create a culture of peace. And in thinking about this presentation, I was really struck by how easy it is for us to talk about violence, but how rare it is we talk about peace. I think we have to create a culture of peace and validation. And we need to do that at a community and neighborhood level. Communities have to come together and decide what's important for their children and families, and how can we keep everyone safe. We are a society that likes violence. We are a society that sets up arcades where kids can figure out how to destroy people as quickly as possible in video games. We are a society where our recreation is often tied to violence. So that we have violence in families, we have neighborhood violence, we have schools that don't feel they can keep children safe, and in fact, at this point in time, we have government-sanctioned violence. I think we have to continually have high expectations for our kids. We have to continually be teachers. We've got to understand the importance of engagement in constructive activities. And we've got to protect our kids. We've got to buffer them from the violence. And I think it's tough, but our kids will hear us. What makes kids do what we want them to do is that they want our love. And the more we validate them and demonstrate love, the more we are able to shape their behavior. To create a culture of nonviolence, we cannot demonize anyone. that we have to work with victims, we have to work with batterers, we have to work with people who are ambivalent about violence. We can't just write them off because everyone has to be engaged in the process. The work you do is about transforming the lives of families who have learned to live in terror and tolerate it. Families who've learned to be hurt and lonely and tolerate it. And to move those families to a place of not just safety, but a place of peace. I think that if we can create communities in which every individual matters, we will reduce the risk of violence in families, we will reduce the distortions in the development of children, and we will create communities of peace and validation.